What's up, Steve? 600 wins in the regular season. Fourth fastest to do it behind Popovich, Pat Riley, and Phil Jackson. Two of those guys were mentors of one Steve Kerr, as Bonta Hill is joining us for the entirety of this hour. And it's presented by Ceremony Ford, your Bay Area Ford dealer. We got Sam Lubman crushing it, filling in for Joe Shasky the last 2 days. And yeah, let's start right there real quick. I know you kind of touched on it, Bonta. 600 wins for Steve Kerr. I mean, it could have happened faster, probably if not for that, 2019-2020 season. How many games did they win? 15, something like that. But
15 and 50, yeah.
15 and 50, right? So it's just an incredible accomplishment. And the fact that I feel like we still take him for granted and what that team was able to accomplish, it goes back to what you were kind of talking about last segment, just the anger and vitriol. And we had a guy call in yesterday, AJ in LA. He was like, he's a bottom tier coach, right? I could name 15 NBA head coaches better than him. So we went through Sam and I went through the entire league, and we found maybe 3 we would take over him right now. Maybe
3. He's an excellent coach.
Spoelstra's probably the only one I would actually legitimately entertain. The others, it's kind of like a 50-50.
Mark Daigneault, OKC's coming up. Joe Mazzulla, you have to give him a lot of credit out there in Boston. There's a few coaches. And look, Steve Kerr has his flaws. Times he drives me crazy with his small lineups, The start of overtime in Chicago, you got Kristaps Porzingis and 4 other guys who are 6'4" and under. Well, to me, that didn't make sense because the Bulls were crashing the glass. There were a plus 15 on the boards, a plus 20 when it came to points in the paint. What are we doing? You need some size and athleticism. So he has his moments where, I don't agree with the roster combinations at times, the starting lineup, some of the subs that he makes. But you cannot forget the way he changed his system coming from Mark Jackson. And Mark Jackson was a good coach. And I think Mark Jackson deserves another job. But the ISO ball that he was employing to when Steve Kerr came here, and you saw the ball movement, the motion offense. One of the most critical moves early on was 2. There was 2 moves. One, hey, Andre Iguodala, I need you to come off the bench. I need you to come off the bench and stabilize that second unit and let HB start. That HB being Harrison Barnes. And then the bold move, which unlocked everything, was inserting Draymond Green in the starting lineup for David Lee. Mm-hmm. And once that happened, they took off, won 67 games, and the rest is history. So the accomplishments, gold medals, 9 championships, 5 as a player, 4 as a coach. I mean, he's the greatest coach in Warriors history, and 600 wins. Wow, that's impressive. The 4th fastest to do it. So congrats to Steve Kerr, man. He's changed everybody's lives around here in the Bay Area, or helped change everybody's lives, and helped take Stephen Curry to another level. Remember, Stephen Curry was a really good player, a great player, all-NBA. He helped take him to another stratosphere. So kudos to Steve Kerr.
But Steve Kerr can't develop players, though. That's apparently the word.
That's another big thing. No, love it. He helped take Steph to another level.
Exactly.
Klay Thompson became one of the best 2-way players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond Green developed under Steve Kerr. Kevon Looney, Jordan Poole. Mm-hmm. We're watching Guy Santos develop. We're watching Brandon Pajewski be a productive player.
I like Will Richard a lot, too, right now.
So Moses Moody's getting better and better. So that's a big misnomer. It's just a lazy take.
I agree with you, Bonta. You bring up a good point about the lineups and the frustration there, and this kind of goes back to what I said before this last break in terms of just like what do you want Steve Kerr to do? Like almost half of this roster, Bonta, is under 6'5". I mean, this is 2/3 of this roster is 6'6" or shorter. Like this is easily the shortest team in the NBA. They're also the oldest team in the NBA. So, like, everyone's like, I'm so tired of these 4-guard lineups. But, like, what else are you really supposed to do right now? Like, what is the starting 5 here? And I am kind of posing this question out there. It's like, what is the starting 5 that people really do want to see with this team that would actually get them to stop complaining? Because with the size you have right now, I don't think it exists.
Well, you added some size with Porzingis, and you have Al Horford. Now, again, starting isn't everything, but this year in the NBA, when you have a lead after the first quarter, that team with the lead wins 63% of the games. I like those odds. So what have we seen from the Warriors for most of the season? Slow starts. Now, they've just gone through 12 consecutive games with 12 different starting lineups. Part of that is because some guys can't play back-to-backs. Some guys are hurt. You're calling dudes off from Santa Cruz. So you have no consistency with this roster. So, I mean, 35 different starting lineups now. So,
Yep.
Again, it's a little overrated, but when you have a team that's older, you need to get off to great starts. It's imperative that you get out to a 10-2 lead, a 15-8 lead, be up 5 at the end of the first quarter. Because when you're playing uphill instead of downhill, and you're asking an older team to do a lot in the regular season where you're trying to conserve some type of energy for the playoffs, yeah, you will ideally like to settle in on the starting lineup. And look, if Kristaps is ready to roll or Horford, I like the combination of Kristaps Horford, Kristaps Draymond, because when Boston, how about this? In Boston, in 78 games, Horford and Porzingis played together. They started 28 of those games. They were a plus 283 on the floor together. So they know how to play. And I like the spacing that Porzingis and Horford provides. That's not to mention that Draymond Green can roam weak side when he's starting along. So they have a little more size. And don't forget about Guy Santos. But when you got guys in and out the lineup and you're playing against different teams, you got to mix it up here. But to your point, Sam, they need to get off the better starts. That's been the thing all season. They haven't done that consistently.
Well, that's kind of, again, the bugaboo I've had lately is they're getting off to pretty good starts with these smaller lineups, but then they just kind of, piss the lead away, very slowly over the course of the second half of these games. And I just attribute that to Bonta. Like, you got guys, again, like this sound like I'm just crushing guys like Guy Santos or Will Richard and whatnot, but when they're being asked to play 30-plus minutes a night, like, these are guys who are in the 15 to 20 minute range. If you ask me, there's just being so much asked of them. And when you look at it that way, I kind of understand why some of these leads kind of leak away in the second half, because a lot is being asked of guys who I don't know if they're just really cut out to be handling that much, or I don't know. Am I off there?
Well, Guy Santos is playing well. Guy Santos plays some really good basketball, and Spinoni love it. Let's be real. We look back at the Knicks game on Sunday. The game flipped in the second quarter when they turned the ball over 9 times, which led to 12 New York Knicks points, which is half of their point total in the second quarter. So it's as simple as take care of the damn basketball. I don't care who you are, Guy Santos, LJ Cryer, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, take care of the basketball. But you're getting, like, when you leave Spinoni, you know this. Yeah. Guy Santos had a 3-year, $15 million extension.
Yeah.
That looks like a bargain.
Right now it does.
I swear to God, Guy Santos, man, think about firing my agent. Like, man, I hit the open market. He may get $10 to $12 million. And I know he's happy with the deal. It's a lot of money, and congrats to Guy Santos. But he's playing well, so I got no qualms. I got no problem about Guy Santos and the way he's playing right now.
I mean, to your point, Bonta, you just go through the game log starting back mid-February, 17 points, 17, 15, 17, 14. He had a bad one of 5 points, but other than that, it's been double figures. And as you said right there, the big thing with Guy is the turnovers, because he has the ability to have like 4, 5, 6, and it gets high up there. But that was the thing that stuck out to me yesterday. You look at his stat line, 18 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, just 1 turnover.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you're going to lose a game against a team like that, is just turning the ball over. And they did a really good job of it. Yeah, and Guy and I think D'Anthony Melton have probably been the two of the biggest bright spots of this season. That's kind of gone off the rails here because of injuries. And I do want to play this sound for you here, because a lot of people were freaking out on Friday when they heard it. But real quick, while we're talking about, the turnovers, what did you think of the Will Richard, Brandon Pajemski, Steve Kerr kind of freaking out in New York City?
Yeah. Well, I kind of like a coach yelling at a player. That's kind of old school. We don't see that in today's game
I was
because
kind
we're
of
so
saying
damn
that
sensitive
too,
about things. I like it. Just Steve Kerr, he had some pent-up frustration and he took it out on the wrong guy. Brandon Pajemski made the pass. Will Richard tried to save it. But I think it was a combination of what was going on in that second quarter. And look, Will Richard didn't deserve that. But I think out of all the guys who could probably handle it, it is Will Richard. When you think about his 4-year stint in college, winning a championship in Florida, I've talked to him multiple times. The guy's a mature young man. But Steve Kerr, he admitted it. He was out of line for that. He should have been directed towards Brandon Pajemski. That wasn't Will Richard's fault. So, Steve was frustrated, obviously. I don't mind ripping a player in front of everybody. And, oh, my God, he yelled at somebody on national television. That used to happen all the time. But it was directed at the wrong player, no doubt.
Well, and also sometimes, and you know this in sports, like you're directing at a player, but it's really to the entire team is kind of what you're saying. Like, take care of the damn ball. The ball
is everything.
The ball matters, right? Like, and I understood in real time, because when I watched it again, I understood his frustration, and he acknowledged like it was a bad pass. But because it was a bad pass, don't try to make something out of nothing. Just get the ball, do a jump stop, and keep the possession. Because in a game like that, Bonta, when they end up losing by 3 points, that's what? A single possession.
Yep.
Stuff like that bites you in the ass later.
No doubt. That second quarter was just a nightmare for the Warriors. They were rolling up 21. They should have been up 25 going into halftime. And it probably was more of an indictment on the New York Knicks and where they're at, which is why I can't believe they're up in the playoffs. I mean, what a mess they are. Mikal Bridges not even playing in the fourth in crunch time. I mean, they're playing Landry Shamet over him, and they gave up 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. The Knicks are a mess, and they're a one-on-one team that's not going to go very far in the Eastern Conference playoffs. I give them 2 rounds max, but the Warriors, looking at it from their vantage point, you take care of the basketball, and that game may be over by the end of the third quarter.
Absolutely. And leading into that game, they had won 3 straight in Madison Square Garden, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm with you on the Knicks, by the way. It's going to be Celtics Pistons, and I think it's going to be Celtics OKC at the end of the day. And I wouldn't hate that. I would not hate that as a championship matchup, by the way. I don't think the league would either.
Celtics Thunder, Celtics Spurs.
Celtics Nuggets, maybe.
Give the Nuggets a little bit of a chance because of Jokic in the series. And they've lost some really close games as of late. Now, the whistles were, you know how I feel about Hollywood and the whistles down there in L.A. We know who they favor. And it was criminal how LeBron James doesn't get called for a foul on the Jamal Murray play. It was criminal that Austin Reeves is shooting free throws when it was a clean strip. And the 2-minute report comes out saying, oh, by the way, we made a mistake. Yeah, we know that.
Hey, that intentional miss was pretty clutch, though. Come on.
It was good. I mean, that was a CYO play by the Denver Nuggets. Hey, David Adelman, you want to tell somebody to box out the shooter? I mean, come on. You learned that in first grade. So, but I'm with you. I think the Celtics are coming out the East, man. They look good. We'll see them tomorrow night.
Hey, we will, and I'm hoping for another Kristaps revenge game scenario as he played his former team last night. He'll play another former team, and I know Steve Kerr yesterday was going with the memory tour. They had the whole trip. I told it the revenge tour. We only didn't get to see him against the Knicks.
I've never seen a situation like this where an entire road trip is made up of all teams where a guy has played for in the past. That's a fun little quirk right there. So I like that.
The ultimate he didn't want you tour. He didn't want you, Atlanta.
He didn't want you, Kristaps.
Atlanta didn't want you. Dallas didn't want you.
Oh, man.
Boston didn't want you.
Speaking of Atlanta and people who didn't want, man, Saturday night, the JK revenge. It's going to be a double dose of revenge. JK and Kristaps. Imagine
I'm not looking forward to
Imagine if they both don't play.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Look, the Hawks have won 10 in a row, and everybody's like, oh, JK only scored 2 points and 7 points last 2 games. And
but he's carrying the culture in there, though.
That's what it is. It's the culture.
He had 8 rebounds. But, when he scored points against Minnesota, it was like, well, he didn't rebound. All right, well, now he's rebounded. Now he's not scoring enough points. I got called every day with a book.
Always got to move the goalposts.
He had that highlight fest, in Atlanta. I got called every day with a book. I saw tweets yesterday, hey, what about Kuminga, Bonta? I'm not worried about Kuminga. I'm worried about the Golden State Warriors and how they look and what their future looks like. I want Kuminga to do well. My feelings don't change about the situation here at the Golden State Warriors, but it's time for people to move past that.
Absolutely.
Hawks are rolling. They won 10 straight. We need to figure out what's going on out here with the Golden State Warriors.
Well, and last night should have been the Magic City game, as we all know. And it is pretty clever how they did it because I had no idea they were playing the Orlando Magic. Yeah. That was the whole reason.
Oh, that's slick on their end.
That is really good. T.I. was still in the building. Man. So it's I'm not going to get to the whole Magic City thing. I mean, I'm just going to leave it alone, man.
We have Bonta Hill joining us every single Tuesday at this time, presented by Ceremony Ford, your Bay Area Ford dealer. And hopefully we see Bonta at a knockout tournament, Chase Center, Monday, April 6th. Listen all week long, right around the injury report, or right after, I should say, 8 a.m. for your chance to win something that money just can't buy. For more info, go to 957thegame.com. And also, if you missed your opportunity to win today, you have another opportunity, actually 2 of them, during the crossover with Steiny, Goo, Willard, and Dibbs. But I don't know if you're going to be there. You got the baby coming up soon, right?
Yeah, I got baby number 2 coming up soon. Kapop, they said April 4th.
Oh, it's my brother's birthday. April 4th is a good one. My brother Rob. Yeah, it's his birthday.
but we believe it's going to come in late March. Could come on April Fool's Day. Who knows?
That's my mom's birthday, April Fool's Day. There you go.
Is there a day out there that exists that doesn't have a family member's birthday on it?
I have 9 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that was the joke.
15 brothers and sisters, 10 aunties.
He's got
15 uncles.
Yeah, 364 relatives, all born on different days.
Did you guys know how
You want a guy with 2 moms?
Yeah, there you go. My mom and dad, so they're grandparents, obviously. You know how many grandchildren they have?
Oh, their Christmas bill must be
How many
insane.
nieces and nephews combined I have?
How much money do you think they're spending on birthday cards?
I think there's 20. I have 20 nieces and nephews combined. Well, I'll take 2 of those away because they're my own. But yeah, there you go, Bonta.
You guys,
one big happy family.
So
families like yours are the reason.
Yeah, may not be a Chase Center.
That's the reason why all the amusement parks are always so full. There's too many people.
Yeah, well, we were a boardwalk family, so you had the beach right there if you couldn't pay for the rides.
Boardwalk.
Let me play this sound, the sound that kind of took over the weekend. I've been teasing it. This was Anthony Slater. ESPN covers the Warriors, formerly the Athletic. Guy's very tapped in. Slates on next season being the season for the Steph era.
Next season has become the season in this final Steph era. And I don't think at all they want to jeopardize that. And this is, from what I gather, an injury that, they fear if you do put him back on the court and he's not quite ready, it could, re-injure it, re-aggravate.
Okay, that played and everyone kind of freaked out because they immediately assumed, oh no, next year's the Steph era is over, so he's going to retire. I think that's where fans' minds went immediately, Bonta. When you heard that, what did you think?
Well, just all in on what's going to happen next season because all the money's going to be cleared off the books after next season. So Steph's making it 62. Jimmy will come back, who was with the team last night. Hopefully he comes back in January. Could be February. Who knows? Porzingis, we don't know what it looks like with him. Draymond Green has the player option. There's rumors swirling about LeBron James within the NBA circles. So they're going to roll the dice on next year. And then after the season, reassess. But I don't think Stephen Curry is going to retire after next season. The guy's still averaging over 27 a game. He's still damn near shooting 50, 40, 90. You know what I'm saying? So he still has a lot left in the tank. Now, I do believe he'll finish his career with the Golden State Warriors because that's what he wants to do. But next year is pivotal. Next year it could change everything. I mean, you don't go all in, which he wants. I'm not going to speak for Stephen Curry, but I'm going to assume that, hey, he wants this front office to be aggressive this offseason. Go get me another guy. They tried it with Giannis. They called Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers to see what was going on down there in L.A. They called around the league, star hunting, and they're going to continue to do so. That's what this organization has been about over the last decade. So I wouldn't freak out about him retiring because, as he mentioned, he's got a lot left in the tank, and we're watching players play until they're 40. And look, Stephen Curry, you imagine him on a team where he is 39 and he's a spot-up shooter and he doesn't run around as much? Well, he's going to be deadly. He's going to draw a lot of attention because he's Stephen Curry and he can pop that three-point shot. But I wouldn't freak out about him then retiring after the season. But as a member of the Golden State Warriors, who the hell knows what could happen after next season? We really don't know. But I think he wants this organization to be aggressive, and then everybody will reassess after the season. And that's a pivotal moment for the Warriors franchise as well, because as I mentioned earlier, all that money comes off the books, and you've got your full allotment of picks, which I believe, with the exception of 2030, which I think is protected, 1 through 20, I could be mistaken there, but for the most part, they have their picks for the foreseeable future. So it's pivotal for everybody, not just Stephen Curry, Lubin.
No, you mentioned the aggression there, and I do kind of wonder if, like, it's probably, yes, I do agree with you. I think it's more than likely that next year is not the last year, though yesterday we were kind of calling it, is that the final season that we could be seeing here? When they say it's the year first in this final Steph era, my thought process did kind of go to, like, yeah, that is the last year. Now, he could play beyond next year, but I don't know if he's going to be the focal point beyond that. I don't want to go down that road just yet. I do want to focus, though, on this offseason, though, and does this kind of give the Warriors, I guess there's a little bit more clarity on kind of what they need to do. They need to go out there and be aggressive. So there's that, but there's also, like, what does that really look like, too? Because they can be aggressive and try and go out and get someone and go star hunting, but the hunt is only going to be predicated on, who is available. I don't know if a Giannis trade is really in the books. I was trying to play around with the trade machine yesterday. There really isn't a permutation that I think works out unless you trade Jimmy Butler, but they said they don't want to trade Jimmy Butler. And as long as he's on the team, I have no choice but to kind of take their word on it. So it's like, what does that aggressive offseason look like then in that situation?
They also said Draymond Green wasn't on the block, and it's known that Draymond Green was on the block. So look,
there you go. I don't.
GM
flying season.
Part of their job. I'm not calling Mike Dunleavy a liar. I would never do that. But it's part of their job to kind of lie and not tell us everything. You got to keep some intel to yourself. You can't just tell the general public, hey, yeah, we're going to trade Draymond. Like, you can't do that. So you don't know what could happen in the next 3 months. Things happen in this crazy world of sports. Jalen Waddle, gets traded today from the Miami Dolphins to the Denver Broncos. We're seeing moves happen. Justin Fields, a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, for crying out loud. Things happen in this league, in all these leagues, so rapid, so fast and rapid. So, look, when you look at the Warriors situation, Horford has a player option. D'Anthony Melton has a player option. Kristaps Porzingis has an expiring contract. Draymond Green has a player option. That's 4 players right there. Then you got the Pod's rookie extension, right? What do you do with Moses Moody? There's so many unknowns on your own roster that I think, first and foremost, who's the best fit with Steph moving forward next season? Who's the best fit? Is Porzingis going to be healthy enough for us to invest in? And what does that look like? You certainly don't want to pay him $30 million a season, but you can see the vision and the way he can work with Steph, pick and pop, get out there on the 3-point line, you drive in, hit the little midi that he did yesterday over Washington. But you got to reassess your own roster and figure out who's the best fit for Steph and who can help you contend next season in the Western Conference. There's a lot of question marks on your own damn roster before we start looking outside and saying, okay, let's add this guy, let's add that guy, let's add this guy. You got to figure out who's coming back on your own damn roster.
Well, and it's a good point on Kristaps. I just need to see him play with Steph, man. The more and more the reports come out about this runner's knee and him being out and he can get re-aggravated, there's a realistic scenario where those guys don't even play together on the same court if Steph has to miss the rest of the year. And then if you're Mike Dunleavy, Bonta, how are you supposed to evaluate, this piece in Kristaps that maybe he stays healthy the rest of the season and plays pretty well, but I didn't even get to see him with my best player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do believe, though, that all we need to do is see one game with Kristaps and Curry.
All right.
It may only need 10 minutes. We'll find out right away whether or not Kristaps can play with Steph and Curry. And I think it's going to be a seamless transition. Even remember Andrew Wiggins when he got traded here from Minnesota? And it's a little different because Andrew Wiggins didn't handle the ball as much. But I remember Wiggins after the first game he played with Steph. I think he only played one game with Steph during that 15-50 season. And it was on a Thursday night, prime time against the Toronto Raptors. And Wiggins was ice cold. But I remember him being in the locker room saying, I've never been that open in my life. Oh, my God. The shots that I was presented, I never saw that in Minnesota. And it was the Stephen Curry effect. So even Stephen Curry at the age of 38, as opposed to when Andrew Wiggins was traded here 5-6 years ago, Kristaps was going to be like, wow, I'm wide open. Wow, look at all the space. And if they don't blitz Steph, and I can make plays and help create for Steph. So we're going to find out right away in the first few minutes whether or not Kristaps or Stephen Curry can play together. I don't think it's going to be that challenging at all for those two players.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you mentioned, Steph opened things up for Kristaps, but I'm kind of curious how that's going to work on the other end with a much more open Kristaps, how much that space creates for Steph, because that was the thing, as good as Wiggins was, he's not a space creator in the same way that Steph is, where you kind of have that with Kristaps. He is that shooting big that the Warriors have kind of been looking for ever. So that's an interesting point there. I can't wait to see them on the court together. I want to see it, and I hope that they're ready to go. Because I look at this team, Bonta, and I do think, if they're coming into the play-in, which is all pretty much a certainty, they're locked into the box. If everyone is as healthy as they can be, obviously taking Jimmy off the table here, it's hard for me to look at that group and think, you know what, we had Nick Friedel on yesterday, and he said straight up, no one wants to face them if Steph's playing, if they're healthy. It's hard for me not to fall into that trap.
They've lost to the Blazers 3 of 4 games this season.
But they didn't have Steph. They didn't have Steph and Kristaps.
Yes, they did have Steph, and he dropped 40 on him, and they still lost.
Well, maybe again, a Steph, Kristaps, Draymond, if Pods, Moody,
and Thiago Splitter do not fear anyone.
Again, there's a way to believe.
I did tap in a little bit yesterday when Lubman was talking about, man, they could do some real damage in the playoffs and maybe win a round or two. So let's just get through the playoffs.
I said they could maybe push the Spurs to 7 in the first round. That's kind of the ceiling that I'm looking at right now.
But they're probably not going to be 8 or 7. they're more realistically is going to be stuck at 9.
Correct.
Yep.
And, they played the Clippers the last game of the regular season. Clippers win. They win that season tiebreaker. You're playing a 9-10 game. You may be in Portland playing that game. And it's a Spinoni's point. Portland's had your number. Now in that situation, maybe you win, but then you need to play 2 games just to get in. And if you get in, you're playing Oklahoma City in the first round. I'm not sure we want those problems.
Oh,
I'm just being honest here, man.
I think
that's it.
No, I think the 9-10 is doomsday scenario. I think if there's any...
Well, that's what they're getting.
Yeah, I know. Well, if they can somehow... Well, I mean, they are, only a mere 1 game behind the Clippers for that 8th spot with 14 to go. So it's not impossible. Is it likely? No,
it's not impossible.
If I will give them a puncher's chance if they're in the 7-8 game of doing something entertaining in the playoffs.
I've probably been more optimistic about the Warriors than any team in the Bay Area over the last decade. All right? Dead serious. I just don't see it with this roster. Yeah. You follow these games all year long. The losses they've had. They lost to Utah and Chicago on the back-to-back.
I admit I'm grasping at straws here. But
listen, there was articles over the weekend, the Warriors should take, they should do this, they should do that. They don't need to take. They don't. Just look at the roster. They've lost to the Bulls and the Jazz on the back-to-back, for crying out loud. I've watched them lose to Indiana when they didn't have a win, and some dude named Quentin Jackson was on a 2-way deal, dropped 25 and 10 with no turnovers.
I mean, they
barely bucks about Giannis.
They barely had a roster for those games. You're playing half your G League in some of these games. I'm just saying, if
not against Indiana, you had Steph and Dre and Jimmy. Yeah. You had these guys early in the
Portland.
Year. They've been to Portland. I mean, come on, for crying out loud.
I just want to see them make the push. I want to see them make the push and see what they could do.
It's hard for me to bet on a team that's been inconsistent all season long. They are what your record says you are. Yeah. They're 2 games under 500. Mm-hmm. So, yes, do they have a puncher's chance? Yeah, I don't like betting against Steph and Curry, no doubt. But runner's knee, not going to be 100% healthy. Kristaps just played 26 minutes last night. Is he going to play more in the game? Probably not. And the benefit to the playoffs is you don't have back-to-backs, but you got to get there. And those are 2 high-level games that you have to play to win, unless the Clippers just drop off the face of the earth and drop back into 9-10. Now we're talking about a different thing.
Game back.
But, yeah, you're a game back. I get it. But I like your optimism, Lovin'. I do.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I know I sound crazy. I know I sound delusional. And yeah, more than likely, it's the optimism's going to go unfounded and we're all going to be sad afterwards. But at the same time, though, the pieces are there. It could potentially work out where these guys do somehow sneak into that 7-8 game. And then, yeah, I'm willing to play the anything could happen card. Likely, no. Possible, yes. If they somehow get that 7 seed, maybe they get the Spurs in the first round. There's ways where you can see if the correct sequence of dominoes falls. There's reasons to think that something fun and exciting might happen. And is it a championship? No, but it's a reason to go into the offseason feeling like, you know what? This is a team that if you're a free agent, you want to hitch your wagon to because maybe they are trending in the right direction. That's as I try to salvage something, that's what I'm looking at.
Well, also the Spurs inexperience, right? Did you mention that?
Exactly.
They're inexperienced to be into the playoffs?
That's why I want the Spurs. I think
there
the Warriors
There's another little pellet on the wall.
No, that's why I want them to get that 7th spot because I think their best hope is matching up with the Spurs in the first round, and which is a very crazy thing to say out loud, but that's a sign of the times.
I mean, look, I love your optimism.
It's delusional. I get it.
Didn't Steph need to score 95, 96 points to win those 2 games in San Antonio?
I mean, hey, it'll be really cool. I mean, that'll be a fun show to do the next day. You might actually come in studio for that show.
When does crack?
I might.
Now, so the cocaine's happening.
Oh, man.
When does that crack come into play for you?
Oh, it's
all I was thinking about the entire time.
It took you so long to find that drop.
I found it. Oh,
crack, crack. You guys haven't used that drop in a long time, huh?
Remember the last time?
Shasky Bandit?
We kind of got called into the principal's office when we played it for too much.
Well, no,
you remember that day?
He's mentioning fentanyl all the time instead of crack. So there you go. That's the one of choice these days. So there you go.
Gotcha.
Shout out to
and the other guy. and the other guy who had that island, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. It always goes there. Why does it always go there?
Well, it's not always that guy. There's the other guy who's the subject of a lot of documentaries right now. So
Yeah, listen.
Can we not? Jesus, it's St. Patrick's Day. Bonta, you doing anything for St. Patty's Day?
watching the Sharks game.
Probably buying my daughter a Buzz Lightyear toy because she just watched all the Toy Stories, so she wants a Buzz Lightyear toy. Go figure. She thinks it can fly, and I'm like, I don't think it can fly.
To infinity and
It's
beyond.
it's called falling with style, but
Yeah, I guess that's a good one. I'm not doing anything, man. I'm old, man. I can't go out there. I don't even have green on. Like, you always got your green on. I'm not going out there drinking, man. I'm too old.
You're at home in the safety of your own dwelling. You don't need to wear green at home. It's if you go out into the world and interact with others, then you got to wear the green. And I don't think you're allowed to pinch. You're not allowed to pinch anybody either. So we're kind of past that.
I got to fold laundry. I got to get this house organized, and now I got a date with my dynasty, Texas A&M.
Oh my God!
Got a big game against Missouri.
I hope you don't get Miami in the first round.
I blew out Miami last year, but got beat in the playoffs. So anyway, no, I'm not. I'm old, man. I don't go out there like that anymore. But you guys have fun for me. Have a Guinness for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything.
I'll have a Guinness for you.
I got the kids tonight too. I think we're just going to chill. It's going to be hot in the East. It's been hot in the East Bay at Bonta, so we got to stay cool. In the meantime, we got our final thoughts.
The Morning Roast.
It's been a great time. We haven't even got to talk about, the 49ers, Bonta. We didn't even get to touch. It was all Warriors today. Listen, I might sound insane. I don't care. I think we're a Joey Bosa signing and a Trent Williams, contract extension away of having a slam dunk offseason so far for the 49ers. I truly feel I like the Christian Kirk acquisition on a 1-year kind of a prove-it deal. Wide receiver 3. He's got speed. Thank God we got someone with speed out there. I've loved with Mike Evans. I don't hate the Dre Greenlaw 1-year prove-it deal again, too. And, yeah, I like the depth they signed at guard and at tackle thus far. What say you?
Christian Kirk had a big wild card game, right? But you look at the numbers over the last couple of years, injuries, lack of targets. I'm interested on that move. I think he could push guys like Jordan Watkins. I don't think it impacts Ricky Pearsall whatsoever.
No.
But can he push guys like Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing, and hopefully make them better? I just want to give this shout out. One is Scott Osler, who wrote his last column yesterday for the San Francisco Chronicle. Scott Osler's always been a friend of the program. Love Scott Osler, one of the funniest dudes out there. Happy retirement to Scott Osler, and also rest in peace to Dave Newhouse and Carl Stewart, 2 legendary writers in the Bay Area. Dave Newhouse for the Oakland Tribune, and of course Carl Stewart for the Bay Area News Group for a long, long time. Rest in peace to those soldiers who passed away last season. Condolences go out to the family, and also happy retirement to Scott Osler for the SF Chronicle.
Yeah, definitely. Well said there. Yeah, rest in peace to Newhouse Stewart. I grew up in the East Bay, so I had, Bay Area News Group, East Bay Times, Contra Costa Times back then. And, I grew up on a lot of Carl Stewart columns. And Scott Osler, same thing. We got the Chronicle delivered to my dad's house. And every morning, I'd crack open the green sheet, look at the box scores, and there's always a funny Scott Osler column there. And that's what I think I like the most about Scott Osler is he always found a way to find humor in sports. And that kind of had an imprint on me as well. Even today, I love finding the humorous moments in sports. And
you sure about that?
I do every now and then, yeah. So
he was getting mad at Pods earlier because of the own goal, if you will.
Oh yeah, he bumps into Omer Yurtseven and
cares?
It causes him to do the own bucket there. That's a different kind of.
Just wait until Giants season. Just wait until Giants season.
Oh, there's going to be lots of things to laugh about in this Giants season.
It's going to be Tony Vitello, baby. Let's go.
This dude
New era.
He's a talker. He is a talker. But, Bonta, you're wearing the Sharks hat, so my final thought is going to be about the Sharks. And they got a big one in Edmonton tonight. These are all really big games for the Sharks as they make a push for a playoff spot. Bonta, we had a fun little poll question yesterday. Who's more likely to make the playoffs, Sharks or Warriors? And I think the Sharks actually came out on top in that poll right now.
I think it may be the Sharks. Although I went to a game last week, they lost to the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah,
they've had an interesting road trip. They beat the Canadians in Montreal.
And they got blitzed by the Senators.
Yeah,
those games blitzed by the Senators.
Those games against the Canadians were fun. Those are 2 young up and coming teams. This one against the Oilers. So you had that overtime loss last month to the Oilers where they kind of came back in the last minute, won in overtime.
Yeah.
And then they played him again a couple weeks later, held on at the end to win that one.
Yep.
I thought Askarov was great at the end of that one there, especially when the extra man and pulled their goalie. So it's be a good test for the Sharks. No Leon Draisaitl tonight for the Oilers, so that'll be a plus for the Sharks there.
Will the choke artist Connor McDavid be be there?
Probably, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, future Shark right there.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, you
don't
hate
do
to see
that.
it.
Don't do
tough
that.
scene.
Don't do that.
That's
If Macklin
future.
Celebrini had been set up like that in the gold medal game, maybe Canada
Macklin
would have
Celebrini had a
one.
one-on-one with Hellebuck and completely whiffed in the gold medal game, too.
Well,
Let's
you
not
know
act
what?
like it was just Connor.
You know, it was a one-on-one. It wasn't an open goal. See, Macklin would have done well.
Well, Nathan
Bonta.
McKinnon's the goal that he's probably thinking
Who's
about.
winning tonight? USA or
Love it,
Venezuela?
love it. Oh, it's a tough game. Who's pitching for USA? Is it McQueen?
McLean,
Who's
yeah.
pitching?
It's McLean versus Eduardo Rodriguez of the Diamondbacks.
Oh, I like Team USA. They'll survive. No Mason Miller available though.
No,
from
I
what
saw
heard.
that. I mean,
Ooh.
he pitched a couple days ago. Why can't he pitch?
Pitched spring training.
So what? Wouldn't he pitch in spring training after a couple days?
Yeah,
I mean, what
it's
matters-
gonna be a tight game, man.
What matters more,
Venezuela's
Mason Miller?
good.
What matters more, Mason Miller being ready for the Padres or America?
Both.
Well, you only pick one.
Well, what if I have him in fantasy, right? Come on, Bonta. You always
Well, I
say
guess
both.
you don't want to pitch tonight if you have him in fantasy.
Don't pigeonhole me.
It's gonna be a tight game, man. This gonna be tough for the USA. It's gonna be tough.
Jose
I wouldn't
Buto
bet
getting
on
the
it,
save?
but I'm looking forward to it. Jose Buto getting the save. How cool would that be?
Or
Shout out
Luis,
to Ron Willis, the Team Italy.
Would you
I
rather
know.
have the Jose Buto save or the Luis Arias walk-off single? I guess I don't know who's the home team in this. So I think USA is the home team, so they can't get the
I kind
Venezuela
of like that
walk-off.
Luis Arias walk-off single.
I mean, it would be the
I kinda
game-winning
like
single
it.
since Team USA is the home team, but you know what I'm getting at there.
Yeah, no, I know what you're getting at. That should be a fascinating game. I don't know who's going to win. Honestly, I'm on the fence with this one. Venezuela's legit. Ronald Acuña Jr., one of my favorite players in baseball, man. He's had a hell of a tournament.
Bonta, appreciate the time as always. Great stuff this hour. We'll do it again next week. And we'll see what Kristaps Porzingis is able to do these next couple days. And another week away from Giants opening day coming up very quickly against the Yankees. I miss John Sterling. I'm going to be honest. I do. I miss the guy.
Yeah, he
the
was
best.
fun.
Remember his interview last year? He just hung up on us. Sorry, guys, I got to go. And he just clicked.
It was all
And we asked him about the
time.
1990, trying to ask him about the 1990 Yankees. Well, I got to tell you, in 93, when we started drafting these guys, and just avoided the question like a total pro.
Just don't acknowledge it. Talk about something positive.
My favorite John Sterling moment is when I did get him on. He's like, I have a flip phone, so when you text me, keep it short because I don't see all the texts.
Stouty and Goon next. Fremont Bank here for you, here for good.